Overthinking is not your personality. It's actually just a learned response. It's something that you have taught yourself over time and you can unteach it. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to do that, but using Buddhist psychology, the ancient psychology from the East that when taken advantage of will completely change your life. So tell me if this sounds like you. As soon as you meet somebody, you tell them that you are an overthinker. You label yourself as somebody who cannot stop their racing thoughts. They loop into the same problems again and again and never stop thinking. And in fact, you don't even know what peace in your mind even feels like. You don't even know what it feels like to just be at peace. Every time you sit down, your mind races on some issue that happened the other day or some problem that could happen in the future. And then from there, well, it doesn't stop. You label yourself as an overthinker, and because of that, you are one. And forget meditation. Tell me this also sounds like you. You've never been able to meditate. Meditation seems like an impossible feat. It seems like something that just can't be done because, well, meditation is stopping your thoughts and you can't do that. You've maybe tried in the past, but then every time that you have, you feel like you've failed, you get down on yourself, and you eventually just give up. And basically now you tell people, well, I've tried to meditate before, and it doesn't work for me. If this sounds like you, today's video is going to be very helpful because I'm going to teach you, using Buddhist psychology, why you are an overthinker and how to stop overthinking. What's up, guys? My name is Bradley Marcus. I teach Buddhism here on YouTube, and I know a white guy talking about Buddhism, what's he thinking? The truth is that I absolutely love and adore this practice. It has helped me so much in my life, and I've spent the last 4 years learning it extensively and now teaching it online for the past 3. I've studied with Buddhist monks. I've meditated at a 10-day silent meditation retreat. I have been to Thailand and Southeast Asia multiple times, and I've meditated over 40,000 minutes. And finally, I also have a certificate in Buddhism from Harvard University. So I do know a thing or two about this practice, and my goal is to teach it to you completely organically in the most natural way without any spiritual bypassing or westernized mindfulness that come into play and dilute these teachings. These teachings are profound and when understood correctly can change your life absolutely. So in today's video, we're going to talk about one thing, overthinking, and what Buddhists say about overthinking, and furthermore, how we can change how our minds work when it comes to overthinking. So if you're somebody who overthinks and reacts a lot to normal situations in daily life, who, again, can't sit down and find peace, who literally sits down and starts to run in their mind of all these issues or things that they've done in the past, the truth is this is not uncommon. And the other truth is that it is self-taught. Now, before I go into this explanation, I want to first say this. The world we live in today does not help those who have an overreactive mind. Every corner that we turn, someone is trying to get our attention, and that is very, very problematic when it's basically as easy as pulling out your phone to get distracted. So if that's you, I will say that it is okay. For one, this is not a normal world that we live in, but for two, it is normal that you're struggling with these issues given these facts. Okay, let's talk a little bit about overthinking from a Buddhist perspective. For one, Buddhists talk about the mind very, very prominently in a lot of the texts, and that the mind can run you or you can run it. Some refer to it as the monkey mind, a mind that looks over here or looks over there and is constantly being distracted. Another version of the monkey mind is a mind that rules you, a mind that tells you what to think, a mind that makes you reactive and, again, jumping from branch to branch or tree to tree. Another thing in Buddhist texts that is mentioned is the type of thoughts one may have that leads to their life. One with a happy mind will lead a happy life, and one with a sad and negative mind will lead a sad and negative life. Pretty self-explanatory, but how does this correlate with overthinking? Well, it's pretty straightforward. It has to do with this one word, which is attachment. In Buddhism, attachment is basically the core thing that causes us to suffer. Now, if you don't have a background in Buddhism or understand the background of Buddhism, I'll quickly explain to you that Buddhism's really all about one thing, and that is suffering. And Buddhism is not religious, truthfully, especially Buddhist psychology. It really actually comes down to a secular approach to modern day problems that we all have. For example, somebody we love passes away. We lose a job. Somebody cuts us off on the road. It can be anything big or small that can lead to our suffering. But the truth that the Buddhists talk about is that the suffering comes from this word attachment. And that also correlates with the overthinking mind, because often what will happen is we will hold attachment to something that then causes us to think about that thing again and again. So again, for example, let's say you got cut off on the road and you had an attachment to that person not cutting you off, right? Now you have two choices: to either let that situation just be as it is, or secondly, let that situation rule you, basically. And that's where that attachment and that overthinking comes into play, because as soon as we let that attachment rule us, as soon as we let that person cutting us off control how we feel and how we react, we will start to run in our minds again and again of all the different ways that things should have gone differently, what you should have done differently, what they should have done differently, why it happened in the first place, was it right, was it wrong, etc. You will think about that one thing again and again, because why? Because you're attached to it. Consciousness itself in Buddhism can be described as different things, but typically we call it the awareness that is. But if you want to look at it from a neurological perspective, we can discuss how those with overreactive minds have overreactive brains. Those who are not well trained in meditation become more reactive because why? That's what they've trained their minds to do. But as soon as we start meditating consistently, things actually start to change. And from a neurological perspective, this has been proven again and again. For example, once we start to meditate consistently, the actual gray matter in our brain starts to change. We start to develop more gray matter and have more control over our experiences. Secondly, it is known that if you meditate consistently, you live in what is known as the alpha brainwave state more often. The alpha brainwave state is basically the state of mind when you're at peace. Some call it the flow state, for example. You can achieve the alpha brainwave state when you're about to fall asleep, but those who don't practice meditation will actually be in the beta brainwave state more frequently. So it's important that we start to meditate to actually get to this state of mind more consistently and stay there. Now, what does the alpha brainwave state feel like? Well, those who meditate consistently will attest to what I'm about to say. When you sit down and you have nothing to do, instead of your mind running to the next problem or thinking about the previous one, nothing comes up in the mind. You are just at peace. And if thoughts do come up in the mind, they're quiet. They come and go quickly. They're whispers and they are transient in nature. That's because we've already practiced in our meditation practice to find that peace. And that's basically the biggest point from the Buddhist perspective, is overthinking is a reaction and a pattern that we have created. And as we begin to meditate more and more consistently, overthinking will naturally disappear. This is a huge life hack that only those who put in the effort actually ever come to this realization themselves, similar to basically those who decide to finally get healthy and stop eating bad food or go to the gym. Overthinking in itself is an unhealthy habit that we have created. It causes more pain and suffering and doesn't really help us, because a lot of times we're overthinking things that we can't even change. Now, side note and caveat, I do believe in thinking about things, but doing it the right amount. For example, if somebody asks you to come to their wedding in Italy, you may want to think a little bit about that before coming up with an answer, because you might have to consider finances, your values, your time, just if you really want to go, and kind of sit with that idea before making a decision. But really, most of the time when we're overthinking, we're really just thinking the same thoughts over and over again. We're not really considering anything new or any new aspects of the problem. And in fact, we really just cycle with it more and more till we come into a state of paralysis and we don't really know what to do. So meditation is incredibly helpful to this, and letting go of attachments is also incredibly helpful to this. If you want to know more about how to have a successful meditation practice, leave me a comment below, because the next few weeks I'm going to be making a video all about 3 hidden tips that most people do not know when it comes to meditation. These are tips that I've come up with over the years of solid meditation practice, and they're tips that I've actually never heard other people speak about, not even other meditation teachers for that matter. Thank you guys for watching today's video, and let me know what you thought. And finally, before I go, it's okay to be an overthinker. It's okay to struggle with thoughts and thinking and racing and overthinking again and again. But as soon as you can break that cycle, and as soon as you can start to build new patterns around it, the sooner you will find that peace that you seek. And ultimately, that's what we all want. It goes beyond the money, it goes beyond any fame or notoriety, it goes beyond any power. We all just want to feel at peace with ourselves. And so if we can start that practice today and now, why not? If you guys enjoyed the video, you know what to do, and I'll see you in the next one. May you be well.